I'm going to talk to you about social media advertising for beginners and specifically help you avoid the overwhelm of social media by really focusing on what you need and what you don't need. Oh, excuse me. To get started. And as we said in the introduction, I really love to simplify social media. I think it's become way too overwhelming for no good reason. At the end of the day, social media is simply a human connecting with another human. We're just doing it online instead of in person, just like in this Zoom. So that's really where my heart is. And so I'm really excited to kind of take things back to the beginning and help you as you either start or thinking about starting a business. So I'm going to kick us off with this quote. No matter what you do, your job is to tell your story. And I love this. If you guys don't follow Gary Vaynerchuk, definitely recommend you start following him. He's got some great books, great to follow on social media. But that's really it, right? Whatever you're going to do, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to social media, your job is to tell your story and share that and let people know who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it. And so I want to next talk about, so if we talk about social media advertising, when I hear the word advertising, I automatically think paid, like paid advertising, like magazine, newspaper. So I wanted to kind of clarify the difference between the two, between you talk about like organic social media posting and paid social media advertising. So organic posting, which is what I mostly consult and coach on, and what I'm going to be focusing on tonight, is really when it's simply you set up an account, you start posting regularly and consistently, you develop a following, attract an audience, and you start to share what you're doing. And over time, you build that trust, you build those relationships, you become top of mind. And those people, when they go to buy whatever it is that you're selling, they think of you because you've developed that relationship with them on social media. That's really where my passion lies. And the good news about that is it's free. Now, on the other side of it, you have paid advertising on social media. So that is a little bit different in that you're going to use your account to run ads. So whether it's Facebook or Instagram, whatever, you're going to run ads. And really your goal there is it's a quick lead, right? So whether you get them to make a purchase, you get them to fill out a form and, get into your sales funnel, but it's more of like directly going for it. And so what's really different is not only, you're paying on the paid side, but it's the timing, right? So if you're going to do organic social media, which is where I recommend you start for sure, you're building that foundation. It is going to take usually about 6 to 9 months of you doing that consistently to start to see those leads come in organically. When you're doing paid advertising, you're going to get those leads, hopefully, really quickly, but that's usually like a one and done, and you don't have that foundation that you have when you built that page and that following. So I wanted to kind of lay that foundation, and then I'm going to be focusing on organic because I think that's where you should be starting. And so what I really want to talk about tonight is, what do you need to worry about? What don't you need to worry about when you're just getting started? So let's start with what you need. You really need, I believe with all of my heart, and I'm a big believer in branding, you really need a brand. You need to start with a brand. I know it's painful sometimes to pay for a logo and to go through and hire someone to help you with your branding when you're just getting started, but it is so important. And it's more, your brand is more than a logo. Yes, you want a logo and you want, colors and fonts, but when it comes to social media, you also really want some brand messaging. So what are your brand values? What is your brand promise? What are you going to promise to do for your people? What is it that you're going to deliver to them? And what are your services? And all of those things go into your brand. What makes you different from your competitors? And so really spending time developing, clarifying your brand, it's going to make everything else so much easier, because then when it comes to all of your marketing, specifically your social media, you're going to know what to post. You're going to know what to talk about because you know who you are and you know what your business is all about. Secondly, you really need to get clear on your target audience. Who are the people that you want to attract? Who are your dream clients? Who are potential clients? And by doing this, again, it makes you're spending a little bit more time up front being strategic, but it makes everything else so much easier because we are no longer in the days of mass marketing. There's so much noise online and social media specifically. When you know who your target audience is, you develop your content, your post on social media to speak directly to them and to their pain points. And then you can cut through that noise and, as I like to say, stop the scroll and get their attention, get them to start following you. And it's so much easier when you know who you're talking to. And as you're starting out, you may not have the most clear idea. Even for me, it was like, I think my target audience is, you know, XYZ. And as you start to build your business, you can get clearer and clearer on who that target audience is. The next thing you really need is goals. So often people are overwhelmed on social media because they have no idea why they are using social media and what they're trying to accomplish, right? So they're like, yeah, I'm going to set up a Facebook page because someone told me I needed a Facebook page. And you can waste so much time if you don't have clear goals. So like everything with your business, what are your marketing goals? Specifically, what are your social media goals? What are you trying to accomplish? And then, and don't overthink it, 1 to 3 goals, especially starting out. Like, what do you want to do with social media? Grow a following, start to maybe educate people on what you're doing. But when you have goals, and you also have a way to measure success. So you can say, my social media is effective because I'm reaching these goals, or my social media is not effective, I'm not reaching my goals, I need to do something different. But creating that baseline for you to really gauge success. The next thing that you need, and this is not necessarily directly tied to social media, but again, I have a digital marketing background, and I really believe you need a website. Even if it's a basic 1-pager when you're just getting started, or maybe 3 pages, but you need a website. Facebook can be your temporary website for a little bit, but you really need to invest in creating a website, because Facebook, Instagram, the rules can change, the algorithm can change, they could go away tomorrow, Congress could shut them down. Like, we don't know what's going to happen, and you don't want to be relying only on those platforms. You want to have your own. So having a website where you can drive people back to your home base from social media to find out more about you, to get your email address, to connect with you, you really want that foundation of a website, and it goes hand in hand with your social media. The next thing you need is to start small. Okay. So often people are like, oh, I need to be on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest and Twitter and YouTube. And no, even for my clients that have an established business and are just kind of getting into social media, I'm like, start with one. We pick one. Where should you start? Well, think about your target audience. Where are those people hanging out? And you can spend some time like looking at the demographics for Facebook versus Instagram. Which channel are they on? Think about your goals. What are you trying to achieve with social media? Which platform is going to help you get there? And then don't discount what platform are you most comfortable on, and which one do you enjoy? Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it. And so pick one to start. And once you're posting consistently and starting to see some results on that, then look at adding a second or a third. So start small. The next thing that you need is a posting schedule. Okay, so don't just set up an account and just think you're going to start posting and just every day kind of wing it. Spend some time thinking about, what are you going to post? Again, this goes back to your brand. What are things that align with your brand that you should be sharing? At the beginning, really just sharing your story and letting people be a part of your journey is awesome. But take some time to figure out like what you are going to post, what days you're going to post on, and develop some type of posting schedule. I have an amazing resource that I've developed that can help you develop your own posting schedule and your content map. And I'll give that to you in a little bit to help you get started with that. The next thing you need is to have fun, because like I said, if you get overwhelmed, you're not going to do it. So don't take this too serious. At the end of the day, we just came off of the legal topic. It's a little bit more serious. Social media is meant to be fun. So if you're having fun with it, your audience is going to pick that up. Your followers are going to have fun with you. So keep it light, keep it simple, and don't get overwhelmed with it, or you will not do it. And the other thing you need to do is to be authentic. So often on social media, we feel like we need to be polished, and we look at what other people are doing. And, it's funny, we're posting on a personal page and we're talking like a human, but then we get on our business page and all of a sudden we're talking all salesy and we don't sound human anymore. So really be authentic. People right now more than ever are craving authenticity. They want to connect with people, with real people, right? I mean, we're all like missing that connection right now. So be authentic, be you, and that is what is going to really attract your followers and help you create that relationship with them. And then the last thing that you need is to be consistent. None of this matters if you are not consistent. And a posting schedule and a content calendar, which I'll also give you a resource for in a little bit, will help you be consistent. 2 reasons you need to be consistent. One, if you start this and then you kind of stop posting, the algorithms are not going to favor you. So you want to be consistent, and that by consistent, I mean like posting 3 to 5 times a week, depending on which platform you're on. But that will, if the more consistent you're posting, the more people are going to see your stuff in the feed. And if you're like, what's an algorithm? Each social media platform has an algorithm, and there's ways to, organically get your posting. The other reason you want to be consistent is simply for top of mind. The more people are seeing your stuff, the more you're going to stay top of mind, right? And so, for some of you, it's like maybe you're selling, you're a realtor and you're selling a house. Well, how many times do we buy a house, right? So you need to be top of mind. And when it is time for them to buy a house, they think of you because they feel like they know you, and they've connected with you online. So really important to be consistent for those 2 reasons. Okay, really quickly, what you don't need. So what you do not need is to be everywhere. I kind of talked about this. You don't need to be on all the channels, especially starting out. Pick the one that is best for you. You do not need to be perfect. Just get over that. If you feel like you need to be perfect, you will never post. You will never go live. People crave, like I said, that authenticity. You're going to mess up. So just, present is better than perfect, and just start and know that you'll get better as you do it. You do not need to post every day. Like I said, how often you should be posting is different for each channel, but even if you can aim for a few times a week, don't feel like you have to post every single day. Quality is over quantity, I always say. So never feel like, oh, I just have to post something and throw something up. If that's the way you're feeling, just skip it until you feel like you have something that's valuable for your audience. You do not need to be tech savvy. It doesn't hurt, once you want to start doing maybe some more advanced things, but starting out, like, you really need to know how to set up an account and post. And you focus on the content, right? Focus on the message. Don't get caught up in all the technical side of it. That can come later, but don't worry about that now. And you do not need fancy or professional videos, okay? I know sometimes people feel like they need to spend thousands of dollars on equipment to go live. To do a video, you need your phone. Lighting is good, some good lighting, but that's all you really need. So don't get caught up in that. And then you do not need a huge following, especially today. People, they would rather, it's better to have a smaller following, especially at first, of people who are really your people, right? Like, you've tuned in your target audience, you know who they are, you're attracting them, you're connecting with them one-on-one. And that is sometimes so much more valuable than like a huge following of people. So don't worry about the numbers, worry about the relationships and the connections that you're making, and use social media to do that. Okay, so I'm going to share some free resources with you. Some are mine, some are others, and then I'll have some time for Q&A. So like I said, I have this content map, and you can go to my website. There's the URL, and it's basically going to guide you through creating a posting schedule with your brand in mind. And it's really simple, really easy to do. And within this PDF that you will download, there's a link to a Google Sheet where you will literally take out the ideas I give you, put in your own, and you'll have a posting schedule. So hopefully that will help you get started. So that's one resource I wanted to share with you. And then, as I mentioned, a content calendar. Once you know your posting schedule and you know what you're going to be posting and you have all those ideas, a content calendar is one of the biggest game changers. And again, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. I use a Google Calendar with all of my clients, and this is an ebook I've developed that just walks you through how to set up a content calendar using Google Calendar. Google Calendar's free. It syncs to your phone. You can collaborate if you have other people on your team. It's really easy to collaborate. So that's another really great resource. But a content calendar will ensure that you're posting relevant content when you should be posting it, right? So we're in August, we're talking about things that are relevant this time of year, and just help you stay on track. Here's some other free resources. So Facebook has a free course. It used to be called Facebook Blueprint. So if you're going to get started on Facebook, which I'm guessing a lot of you are, you can go, and I actually, when I went to look at the URL, I didn't actually see Blueprint. So they may have changed the name of it, but if you just go to facebook.com/business, so many free resources for you, and it's set up, to kind of walk you through like a course. These next 4, Canva, Snappa, Over, and WordSwag, are my 4. There's so many more out there, but 4 favorite websites or apps to create graphics. And you do not need to be a graphic designer to create good looking graphics using them. And so those are great. The first two are more desktop focused. The next two are apps. And then Pexels, Unsplash, and Pixabay are my 3 favorite resources to go to for, I've lost it, for not graphics, for images. And they're not, but they don't look super stocky, right? So if you need a free image, you can go to those 3. And then this last one, and I think Amos was going to drop the link in for me because it's kind of long, but if not, I can put it in the chat in a little bit. I have a blog on my website called the Top Free Social Media Tools. It's actually from 2019, but I looked at it and like all of these are still my favorite things. So you can go to my blog. If we don't get that in the chat, I'll share it here in a little bit. But it's like almost, I think, like over 50 free social media resources. Some are video apps and some are scheduling apps. So it's all right there. And so instead of typing all those out, I was just going to direct you to that blog with all of them. So last thing I wanted to share, I do have a social media course. Probably, oh, well, I won't judge. I don't know if you're ready for that, but at some point, if you're like, okay, I'm ready for more, the deep dive, this is a 6-week social media course that really walks you through all the things I've talked about tonight, but I help you develop your brand, develop your goals, identify your target audience. We do a deep dive into Facebook and Instagram. And so if anyone wants more information on that, let me know. I'm going to share my contact information here in just a second. So I wanted to wrap up with this quote from Seth Godin. And if you guys don't follow Seth, again, one of my favorite marketing gurus, he says, people do not buy goods and services, they buy relations, stories, and magic. And so use social media to develop those relationships, to tell your story. And I love that last part, the magic. And so that is my presentation for you tonight. And I will take questions. And as I do that, I'm going to flip over so you have my contact information. And do you guys want me to look at the chat, or was someone going to ask the questions from the chat? I can stop sharing.
There are no questions on the chat right now.
Okay.
For you. Amos did post the blog link there. I have loved listening to your presentation. I definitely have a love-hate relationship with social media, and this has made me turn me around to try and look at the fun of it more than the other side of it. So that is great. And you did it in 20 minutes. So you don't worry about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually have a presentation that is about the love-hate with social media. So that might be another one sometime for us to dive more into, because it is I will say, even sometimes I feel that way. So it's
here is one question that is, okay. What is your opinion of using Pinterest compared to the other options?
Yep. So I really think it depends on your audience, but Pinterest is great for a few reasons. If women are your main target audience, I think it's great. It is easier to be seen on there. You know, you're not fighting the algorithm quite so much. And they do offer advertising now, which is actually really effective. The other thing that's great about Pinterest is the time on site is so high. Like when people go to Pinterest, they get lost there for hours, right? Like if you've been on there, you know what I'm talking about. You quickly lose an hour of your life. Which at time on site, you know, Facebook and Instagram, people are on and off a lot more. So it can be really great, but again, it all goes back to your audience. And if your audience is there, then I think that's a great place to be.
Super. There are a few questions about where the links are, and the one link is in chat, and you can see Taya's information here. But again, we will be sending out contact information for all the speakers after the presentation, after the conference. And I'm sure if you go to Taya's website, you can probably find all these things that you've mentioned.
Yes, and I can go back really quickly. This is one, so just tiahopper.com content/math is the one that helps you develop your posting schedule. But yes, that is right on my homepage if you just go to tiahopper.com. And then the other one is for the content calendar, tiahopper.com/content-calendar-ebook. Again, yeah, you can also email me and I can send you those links.